G'day, I'm Warwick Schiller, and today I want to talk to you about two terms that are used in horsemanship circles that sometimes people get confused about or just really don't understand what they really mean. And those two terms are, sometimes you want to get to the horse's mind in order to get to his feet, and the other one is sometimes you want to get to the horse's feet to get to the mind. And so in this video I want to talk to you guys about two examples of that. So I've changed a lot of stuff, the way I go about things in the last few years, and something I used to do for like separation anxiety or barn sourness, you know, that sort of thing, like say you're in the arena, your horse wants to go to the gate, things like that. Something I used to do for that was, if you think about that, the horse is in the arena and his focus, his attention is outside the arena. And if you let them go, their focus draws their feet, so their mind takes their feet to the gate. And what I have done in the past when they do that is I've let them go there, and then I'll just do some work. And it's not, and you've got to be careful with this, it's not punishment. I think in the past people have thought that it's a license to punish your horse. It's not a license to punish your horse. All you're going to do is some of the work over there that you were going to do out here anyway. You know, it's just a bit more work, but you have those feet move in that place until after a while the horse goes, this is no fun, and their mind goes off their destination, off their friends, the barn, whatever it is, and it goes, I wonder if I could get a rest if I went out there. So, and if you've watched the Principles of Training episodes, the one that covers the chronically rearing eventing mare. So I had a chronically rearing eventing mare came in a couple of years ago that I worked with for a while, and that was the first thing I did with her, because that was one of the reasons she reared, because she wanted to go back home on the cross country course, those sorts of things. That was the first thing I did, and with her all I did was pick up a trot over there. I didn't work her there. Then I had another one of the Principles of Training episodes. I had a Grand Prix dressage rider come down with a really nice young imported warm blood stallion, and she was having some bit of crookedness issues, and also a little bit of what she called porpoising, like bucking, like a porpoise comes out of the water. And the first thing we did with him was let him go to the gate, and we let him go to the gate on a loose rein. Then we picked up the contact and just did some circles at the gate, you know, on contact, which would be the sort of work that she'd do out here, but we were doing it over there. And when you do that, after a while they go, oh, this is not as much fun as I thought it'd be. Is there somewhere else I can go? So that's an example of moving the feet to get to the mind. We wanted the mind to be out here, okay, and the mind was way over there. And we moved the feet till the mind changed. That's what I used to do a lot in the past, but I've really started doing that differently these days. And the example I'm going to show you guys here was at a clinic recently. There was a mule at this clinic, and you know, a lot of people, I'm excited to share this with you because I tried what I'm doing these days with a mule, not having done it with a mule before, and it worked amazingly well. And people tend to think that mules are stubborn, but mules are not stubborn. Mules have a highly developed freeze response. So if you think about this, fight, flight, and freeze, okay, mules have a highly developed freeze response, and if you put too much pressure on them, they won't fight it and they won't run away from it. They will just shut down. And so they're really good candidates for using the mind, working with the mind to get to the feet. I don't think you could work with their feet to get with the mind, because you might not get the feet to be able to do enough stuff. So anyway, had a clinic in Arizona recently. There's a mule, and the lady was in the arena, got on, and she's in the arena, and I was trying to talk to her, and the mule was wanting to go here, and the lady's pulling on this rein, and there's a lot of brace in it, and then the mule was wanting to go here, and the lady's pulling on this rein, and I said, can I hop on for a second? And she said, sure. You know, the mule couldn't stand still, and I hopped on and just turned loose, and the mule turned and walked all the way down to this very corner of the arena. Okay, the gate was on that end, but there was a very corner over there, and that's where all the other horses were. And what I did was I let this mule go over to that corner, and when the mule was in that corner with her ears pricked, and it's very easy to see with a mule because their ears are very big, all I did was pick up on the rein away from where her attention was, and wait for her ear to flick. It might be when she's standing still, and it might be when she's moving. And all I would do is just take the slack out of the rein, not pull hard or anything, just hold it and wait for that ear to flick. Just for those thoughts to come off where she was thinking and change the thoughts to over here, and then I release. And I think doing this has two main points of value. One is, it's a bit like, if you're anxious and you sit down and meditate, you can get rid of your anxiety. But what are you actually doing? You're replacing the thoughts about the thing you're anxious about, and you're replacing them with focusing on your breathing. So it's just giving you something else to think about. And all I was doing with her was taking her mind off her friends and bringing it over here for a split second. That's one part of it, but the other part of it, and I think this is the attunement part, this is the sense of being seen, being heard, feeling felt, getting gotten part. And if you think about it, all mammals need this. And a mule, people say, oh, mules are totally different from horses. And horses are totally different from people. But if you think about it, we're all mammals and we all feel that need for connection. And when you pick up and get that ear to flick, as the ear flicks, if you release right then, you are communicating, I saw that, I get you, I'm aware of your thoughts. That's how connected to you I am. Anyway, so I flicked that ear whenever I could. Sometimes she'd walk down towards that corner, I'd flick it away. Sometimes she'd be walking, she kind of made a bit of a pattern back and forth on the end of the arena there. And I would just try and flick her ear and let go, no matter what. I didn't care if I got a physical response. I didn't care if I got a bad physical response. If I picked up on the left rein and she was pulling on the rein, but she flicked an ear, I would let go. After a while, what would happen was her ear would flick very easily. Like initially I would pick up and I might have to wait for her to walk up and down a couple of times before she flicked that ear. Then after a while, she could flick the ear in the direction away from where her thoughts were very easily. So then all I did was pick up, and when the ear flicked, I just waited for her to move her feet that way slightly, and then I'd let go. Okay, that was step 2. So I couldn't move the feet initially. She would, it would have been a stubborn mule incident if I was trying to get her feet to go away from where her thoughts were. So I just worked on the ear first. Once the ear came first, once I could get the thoughts, then I could get the feet. And I would just steer away a little bit and then let her go back. And eventually that got to where she was really good about the whole thing. And I put the owner back on, and 5 minutes later, the owner walked from that corner where she was really attracted to, all the way down the arena fence, going in the opposite direction to where she was attracted to, and this mule's ears were flopping like that. And she said, wow, this is amazing. This mule only ever flops her ears like that when she's on the trail. Her ears never get soft and floppy like that in the arena. And so it was and so that was a case of, we didn't try to get the mule's feet to go down here. We didn't, if we'd have worked the horse in the corner, we would have got the mule's mind to go this way and then had the feet follow. But I did the opposite. I got the mule's, I was going to say horse, I got the mule's mind to think this way, and then the feet followed. And I was really happy with how it turned out, because I have a lot of people say, well, do you think this stuff would work with a mule? And I can't say yes, because I've not worked with a lot of mules, but now that I'm really having a better understanding of the nervous system of any mammal, and you realize that, that attunement, that sense of being seen, being heard, feeling felt, getting gotten stuff, how important that is. I was just so glad to get to experiment with a mule, and it worked exactly the way I thought it was going to work. And if you think about, it's really creating connection with him, because if you think about what was it the mule wanted from her friends over there, she wanted the awareness of being around them. But once we communicate to the mule that we can provide that, you don't need to seek it over there, we can provide that, then the mule was perfectly fine and was cruising around. So I know it's a long-winded story, but there's a fair bit to that. But that's kind of where I'm going these days. Instead of moving the feet to get to the mind, I'm, wherever I can, I am working on the mind to get to the feet. But the next video I release, which was another incident that happened in Arizona, I will tell you a story about when you can't get the mind, you can only get the feet. And then I will talk about how I used the feet to get to the mind in that instance.